Amanda here, and today I have a book haul for you, and you guys are going to make so much fun of me because a lot of the books are from the same author. Quick, guess which author? Guess which one? Let's see how well you know me. I'll give you a hint. It's an author that I have been currently kind of obsessed with. I have not a crazy amount of books this time, and a lot of them are from the same author, but let's just get started. I'm gonna do all of the same author together at the end, but I'll do the different books first. And by the way, I have read a few of these. So the first one we have here is Dark Harvest. This is by Norman Patridge. My apologies. I have already read this one, and keep an eye out for this guy because it will be in my fall recommendations book video because it's so cute and fun. But the back just says Halloween 1963. They call him the October Boy or Old Hacksaw Face or Sawtooth Jack, whatever the name. Everybody in the small Midwestern town knows who he is and how he rises from the cornfields every Halloween, a bloody butcher knife in his hand, and makes his way toward town where gangs of teenage boys eagerly await their chance to confront the legendary nightmare. Both the hunter and the hunted, the October Boy is the prize in an annual rite of life and death. Pete McCormick knows that killing the October Boy is his one chance to escape a dead-end future in this one-horse town. He's willing to risk everything, including his life, to be the winner for once. Before Halloween is over, Pete will look into the saw-toothed face of horror and discover the terrifying secret of the October Boy. So it sounds like a cute Halloween story, and it definitely is, but it's a little bit more than that. It's really fun. I will be talking about this more in my, oh my gosh, that's next week. Next week will be my video for my my fall recommended books video thing. Next week is fall, is what I'm trying to say. Woo! Summer's almost over, thank God, because it's been like 110 degrees here and it's been miserable. But anyways, yeah, this is one of the books that I saw and I was just like, I have to read this. The next one was this guy, The Terror by Dan Simmons. So if you guys watched my summer horror book recommendations video, I had put Dan Simmons' Summer of Night, I think it's what it's called. And I've been kind of on the lookout to try to figure out which Dan Simmons book I should read next, but I've gotten mixed reviews. A few of you have said that other books that I have from him aren't as good, and so I don't know what to pick. So if you guys have any other Dan Simmons recommendations besides Summer of Night, please leave them down below. But I found this one, The Terror, and it seems like it would be a good maybe winter book recommendation if I read it and I enjoy it. So let me know if you guys have read this one and how this one is, or if you prefer another Dan Simmons book over. I know that Summer of Night, I think, is part of like a 4-part series, but I have one other one, but I have another, there's one between the one that I have and the one that I've already read. And so I don't know if that one's worth getting or if I should read this one for, you know what I mean. Just let me know. Keep me updated, okay? This one just says the men on board the HMS Terror, part of the 1845 Franklin expedition, the first steam-powered vessel ever to search for the legendary Northwest Passage, are entering a second summer in the Arctic Circle without a thaw. Stranded in a nightmarish landscape of encroaching ice and darkness, endlessly cold, they struggle to survive with poisonous rations, a dwindling coal supply, and the ship buckling in the grip of the crushing ice. But the real enemy is even more terrifying. There is something out there in the frigid darkness, an unseen predator is stalking their ship, a monstrous terror clawing to get in. This just sounds so fun. This sounds like a good book. So let me know what you guys think about this one. Apparently it's now an AMC original series. The next one, this was this was kind of just like a last minute pickup. It's called Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chismar? It's interesting because the back says, in the summer of 1988, the mutilated bodies of several missing girls begin to turn up in the small Maryland town. The grisly evidence leads police to the terrifying assumption that a serial killer is on the loose in the quiet suburb, and soon a rumor begins to spread that the evil stalking local teens is not entirely human, but law enforcement and members of the FBI are certain the killer is a living, breathing madman, and that he's playing games with them. For a once peaceful community trapped in the depths of paranoia and suspicion, it feels like a nightmare that will never end. Recent college graduate Richard Chismar, so he's using himself as a character, I think? I don't know. It was in the horror section, so yeah, it's not non-fiction. Anyways, returns to his hometown just as a curfew is enacted and the neighborhood watch is formed amid preparing for his wedding and embarking on a writing career. He soon finds himself thrust into a real-life horror story. Inspired by the frightening events, Chismar writes a personal account of the serial killer's reign of terror, unaware that his time back home will continue to haunt him for years to come. A clever, terrifying, and heart-rendering work of metafiction. Chasing the Boogeyman is the ultimate marriage between psychological horror fiction and true crime. Chismar's writing, combined with the storytelling of Stephen King with the relentless suspense of Michael McNamara. McNamara? Wait, why am I so stupid? Did I even say Michelle? I think I said Michael. Michelle McNamara is on full display in this truly unique novel that will linger in your memory long after you turn the final page. So very confused what this is. It sounds really interesting. It sounds like it's written in a unique way and like to use yourself as a character, but then it also says true events. So I don't know. I really don't know what this is. I guess I could have looked it up, but honestly, I like kind of going into things without really knowing. So yeah, I just saw that he had himself as a character in the story, and I thought, interesting. It seems like it's gonna be like a unique story and not just your average Joe. Stephen King says it's genuinely chilling and something brand new and exciting. So yeah, I don't know, it just seemed like an interesting kind of book. So let me know if you guys have heard of that one. But these are the 3 that are new, and the rest are all the same author. So let me know if you guys guessed correctly, because the author in question is of course Miss Darcy Coates. So I have had an obsession with Darcy Coates since it was either December or January when I read her first book, and I just fell in love with it. And right now I would say she's like my comfort writer, where I know what I'm going to get in her stories. I know that it's going to be entertaining and fun, and I'm going to be engaged. I'm not going to be able to put the story down. I know that it's going to be an easy read, and I'm not going to have to like sit and read between the lines. It's just kind of like a fun story. So anyways, I bought a ton of her books. I went on a Darcy Coates buying rampage. So the first one we have here is Dead Lake, and I have already read this one. It is a book of short stories, but Dead Lake is kind of the novella in the beginning, and I gotta tell you, it really irks me when authors do this, because you buy this and you're like, oh, it's Dead Lake, it's a novel called Dead Lake, it's probably about a dead lake, and then back here way at the bottom it says, oh yeah, by the way, there's other stories too. This really bothers me, because then in my mind I'm halfway through the story and then the book just ends, and I'm like, that was so unsatisfying. But had I known it was just a novella going into it, I would have been prepared and I wouldn't have been so irritated at the end. Do you guys know what I'm saying? I think it does a disservice to the reader, to the author, to everyone. I think other people get annoyed the way that I do. So anyways, yes, if I would have read the back, I probably would have known. But like I said, I go into Darcy Coates' books knowing that I'm gonna like them, so I just kind of pick them at random. This one just said, she thought she was alone. Sam is excited to spend a week at her uncle's remote lakeside cabin. It's a chance for her to focus on her art without distractions, no neighbors, no phones, and only a small radio to keep her company. It's perfect, but there's something deeply unnatural lingering by the lake. It isn't long before Sam realizes that she's not alone out there. A tall, strange man stands at the edge of the dock, staring intently into the swirling waters below. At first, she tries to brush off the unease, but unnerving reports begin to surface of hikers missing from a nearby trail. Then he starts to follow her. He disables the car. He destroys her only way to communicate with the outside world. Stranded, alone, afraid, Sam now has to become the prey in a hunter's deadliest game. This is, like I said, kind of a book of short stories plus a novella. Dead Lake wasn't my favorite in this story, but there are some like really fun, creepy ones, and there's nothing wrong with Dead Lake. It's not a bad story or anything, but I think it just, you know, irritated me because I thought it was going to go on for the whole time and then it just stopped. But yeah, I got that one. I also got this guy, Hunted, which is another Darcy Coates. And this one just says, her disappearance wasn't an accident, her rescue will be a mistake. And that's all I read before going into the book. I read this one too. I definitely misjudged what this book was going to be about, but it just says, 5 days after Eileen Hirschberger went missing on a hike through the remote Ashlow forest, her camera was discovered washed downstream, containing bizarre photos taken hours after her disappearance. But with no body and no additional clues, finding Eileen in the dark and winding woods seems next to impossible. Chris wants to believe his sister is still alive. When the police search is abandoned, he and his 4 friends vow to scour the mountain range until they find Eileen and bring her home. But as the small group strays farther from the trails and the unsettling discoveries mount, they begin to realize they're not alone and Eileen's disappearance was no accident. But by then, It's already too late. Bum, bum, bum. But yeah, this was another fun one. Okay, this one I haven't read though. It's called Craven Manor. Don't know what it's about. Let's find out together. It says some secrets are better left forgotten. Daniel is desperate for a fresh start. So when a mysterious figure slides a note under the door offering the position of groundskeeper at an ancient estate, he leaps to the chance. Even though it seems too good to be true, alarm bells start ringing when he arrives at Craven Manor. The abandoned mansion's front door hangs open and leaves and cobwebs coat the marble foyer. It's clear no one has lived there in a long time, but he has nowhere else to go. Against his better judgment, he moves into the groundkeeper's cottage, tucked away behind an old family crypt, but when a candle flickers to life in an abandoned tower window, Daniel realizes he isn't alone after all. Craven Manor is hiding a terrible secret, one that threatens to bury him. This one sounds super fun. I'm excited to read this guy. But then, oh shoot, you know what? Let me grab the other ones. Let me explain though, because I was going on 2 vacations, 2 weekends in a row. I was going to Catalina Island, and so I bought 2 different books for 2 different trips, both Darcy Coates books. And then, you know, I was like, well, I'll get this one. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just go and grab one book. I think I ordered some offline and then some I went to the store and grabbed. But anyways, this one I am currently reading, and this is called Gallows Hill. This is actually her most recent book. This just was published in 2022. So this and From Below both came out this year. How does one woman have that much time to write? She's an anomaly. But anyways, this one just says it's time to come home. The whole family has owned the whole family, like H-U-L-L, not whole family has owned the Gallows Hill winery for generations. The sprawling old house has long been perched up on the hill overlooking the nearby town, jealously guarding the estate's secrets. Their wine wins awards, their business prospers, their families thrive, until Hugh and Maria Hull enter the dark halls of Gallows Hill one last night and are found dead the next morning. People whisper that the curse has awakened once more. It's been more than a decade since Margot Hull has last seen her childhood home. She was young enough when she was sent away that she barely remembers its dark passageways and secret corners, but now she's returned to bury her parents and reconnect with the winery that is her family's legacy and the bloody truth of exactly what lies buried beneath the crumbling estate. Alone in the sprawling, dilapidated building, Margaret was forced to come face to face with the horrors of the past and realize that she may be the next victim of the house that never rests. So yeah, these stories, I mean, I just love Darcy Coates so much. Let me know if you guys want me to do a whole dedicated guide to reading her books, why I like her books, ranking the books that I've read of her so far, that kind of thing. I've been meaning to do one, but she has like 20 books out there and I've only read, I don't know, 5 or 6. So I kind of want to read a few more and get more acquainted with her work. She has got a whole section of like haunted books that I have barely even touched. So I definitely want to become a little bit better acquainted with that style of her writing. But let me know if you guys are interested. From Below is still my favorite Darcy Coates book, in case anybody is wondering. I read that one this year and I just fell in love with it. It's such a fun book. That one is for sure my favorite. It really blew me away. But I mean, all of her stories are just so entertaining and fun. But those are my recent purchases. These were all from either Amazon or Barnes & Noble, none from my used bookstore. I haven't been there in a while. Maybe it's time to go back. Anyways, that's my book haul for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a wonderful last week of summer, and then I hope it dies a painful death so that we can move on to fall together and it's not 110 degrees. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you soon with another horror video. Bye guys!